All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Multiverse Show, episode 91, the greatest show on Mondays, and we have your Multiverse bros here on the podcast, ready to get started. We got a lot of things we got to cover tonight, so let's get rolling with our introductions. First up on the docket, who's missed the last episode, but we'll be back, and we will finally correct the great misdeed and judgment against him, the Titan of Texas, the voice of the people, Fame Entertainment.
Before I start the introduction, I want to say hashtag Anchor was right. Again. What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment from TICGN.com. Welcome to episode 91 of the Multiverse Show, the greatest show on a Monday. Thank you guys for rocking with us once again. And I will be preaching that order 1886 greatness. Yeah, buddy.
We're going to get back to that because I'm so excited. Finally, someone's on my side about this.
I've been on your side since
Silence, you didn't count. Before your multiverse existence, you didn't exist. And speaking of didn't exist, let's talk about the White Wolf, the Butcher of Blavka, Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
Hey everybody, I'm back from not existing once again on a Monday evening, and I hope you guys are all doing very well. We've got a great show planned for you, some great talks, so sit back, drink something strong, let's get to it.
All right, and we have the Chief of Achievements, one true King of the North, Undead 3XVI.
Yep, kicked me off the podcast, yet here I am again on a Monday. Yeah, so I'm here. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yep, I'm just here so I don't get docked.
All right, and we have the Caesar of Cinema himself, Mr. James Wilson, with his directorial debut.
Well, like weeks ago, yeah, we already went through this, but thank you. Yes, I have very little to contribute to this week, so let's get on with it.
All right, and we have the Donna Deletion, the infamous Mike P. the Truth.
All right, guys, what's going on? It's Mike. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Multiverse Show as we continue our count up to episode 100. As usual, we have some great topics for you guys tonight, so let's get it started.
All right, so we got a couple things we need to get into, but first off, the question, was it giveaway?
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't ever notice it, or they forgot. We are giving away a copy of God of War, which ends next week.
Oh baby, as long as you're giving it away to me, we're good. All right. So anyway, the question we ask every single week. What have you guys been playing this week?
Sorry, different thing.
Oh, God, not this. We're not getting into it, man. We just had a big argument about this before the show. But first off, we got to ask what you guys been playing. First off, let's start with people who we don't care about. Mike, what you been playing?
That's messed up. I quit. I quit the podcast. I was only doing this for the money anyway. I quit.
Glad you went on the Patreon, sir.
Anyway, my go-to game as of late has been Far Cry 5. Still playing that. Still really enjoying that. Other than that, been playing some NBA Live 18. Still working on my franchise in that game. And I think my go-to multiplayer shooter for the foreseeable future is going to be Star Wars Battlefront 2. I downloaded the trial for that off of EA Access, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. So, and that's pretty much it. Boo, why?
Boo, because that game, that the leveling system in that game is stupid.
It's changed though. It changed like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but don't you still get like things that give you extra bonuses in the packs?
No, they got rid of the packs.
They completely overhauled it. It was a big deal.
Well, it's a retrospective boo.
It's fun.
All right. So, Sam, what you been playing?
Oh, let's see here. I've been playing a little bit of Sea of Thieves. Actually been earning some achievements with you. We had a good haul recently. Fought off the Kraken, which came out of nowhere. That was terrifying, but awesome.
And we beat the crap out of that thing.
We did, which is funny because the first time we encountered it, we did horrible against it. But
yeah, we didn't know what to do. Fame got picked up and thrown off the ship.
Right.
This is true.
So one might ask the question, can we defeat it? Yes, we can.
I want to go more in depth into the fact that Fame was the only black man as part of the crew, and he was the first one that got grabbed off the boat. So clearly,
I'd rather not go into that actually. But no, I've been having fun with CSE.
Yes,
little bit. Of
the only black man on the crew. Sam's playing as a black female, so
it's called role playing.
Equality.
He also role plays outside of the game as well.
Oh, yeah.
All right. This has been episode 91 of Multiverse Show. Have a good night, everybody.
Well, that's the fastest time we've had that.
But I've actually been playing a lot of Wolfenstein 2 recently as well, going after some of the optional missions, getting some of those achievements. It's a ton of fun.
I think you find its name is Wolfensteiner.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, that's what I've been playing.
All right. James, you been playing anything at all? You're still working hard.
Or hardly working. I have been playing. I've been playing Dishonored because I never played it before, so I've been playing a bit through that.
Wait, Dishonored 1 or 2?
1. I own both, and I'm getting to 2, and I'll play that in like a couple weeks. But I'm remember like a few months ago I told you I was making my roommate play Bloodborne because he never played a game before.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going. We invited a bunch of people around, and we went through the entirety of BioShock.
Oh,
who nice. They didn't know anything.
Oh,
and like one person,
my God, that's the best.
I know, right? One person figured it out and like looked at me in the eye, and like as I was making a drink, he looked at me and said, "Would you kindly pour me a glass?" He got it.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Spoilers for an 11-year-old game. Deal with it.
He didn't say anything.
Dude.
He still didn't say anything.
Dude, I gotta say, you have to play... Like, okay, I played that in college my freshman year, and I remember because we were playing in a dark room, and we sat down and ground out the entire game in, like, one sitting. Like, we played together. It was like, oh, my God, it blew my mind. It was just freaking out.
I only controlled it myself when they were like doing a really specific bit and they like didn't know where to go. Apart from that, I was hands off for like 80% of the game, and they really went in on the plasmids and didn't use any of the weapons other than like the wrench, which I think is the best way to play BioShock.
Yep, wrench is fun.
Yeah, that was a brilliant experience doing that. Next week we're going to meet up and do all of Life is Strange for a bit of a slower move, but the story's
that's fun.
Yeah.
You know what you got to do now that you played it? Just go play BioShock Infinite and then do Burial at Sea.
Burial at Sea, yeah.
Oh my God, that Burial at Sea made me cry.
I've tried to play Infinite so many times. I get bored.
I understand getting bored with Infinite. I understand that, but you have to play the DLC more than anything else. Like,
so you need to finish
look at the base game as the prequel to the DLC.
The DLC was that good because I finished BioShock Infinite, but I never played the DLC.
If you play BioShock 1, the DLC for BioShock Infinite will make you cry.
Oh, I gotta play it.
It hits you right in the feels really hard. Like, it's just...
All right, I'll consider
Oh my God.
Wait, is BioShock Infinite
It really is good.
Oh yeah, they've got that full collector's edition on the PS4, don't they? Yeah.
They do. Yep. I think it was on sale last week.
I think it's on sale right now. I'm just wandering through the PS4 store to see right now if there's anything amazing that I can like plug. Nothing as of yet, but there we go.
All right. So that's kind of the gist of that. So let's see, Undead, what you been playing, dude?
Just finished up Far Cry 5 a couple days ago. Seriously disappointing ending for that game. I can't go into it obviously because spoilers, that's still new.
Yeah. Did you do the good or the bad ending? I know there's at least two.
There's two endings. I did both, and they're both
bad.
They both. I without going into spoilers, it pretty much devalues the 40 hours you put into this game to finish it.
Oh, it's the best kind.
Yeah, I finished Far Cry 5, and this week I'm playing Until Dawn and God of War 3 just to kill some time before God of War comes out on the 20th.
Yeah.
And Hellblade later this week when it comes to Xbox.
Yeah. Yep. All right, and so I mean, I'll say what I've been playing. I've been attempting to play on my PlayStation all week, but I recently upgraded to the Pro on Friday night, and I've been sitting here waiting for all my games to download. I really hate Sony's download system. I really do.
It's terrible.
It's like why do I have to download all 3 at the same time?
It's dumb.
Like,
it's so dumb.
Why can't I just download one at a time and at least play something this weekend?
Hey, you can do that.
If I don't want to manually go and pause every individual game,
yeah,
and then when I go to bed and come back and wasted 4 hours, so I could have been downloading something else.
All right. Well, when I do it and I put it one at a time, it just clocks over to the next one.
I mean, it doesn't clock over the next one if you have it paused continuously. That's the problem I run into. But anyway, yeah. Playing a little Sea of Thieves. Playing. I started playing a little bit of Steep because I've been getting a little frustrated and freaking out lately. So I needed something to calm down. Snowboarding games help me calm down. Other than that, I mean, I not too much. But Fame. What have you been playing, sir?
I'm currently playing the only game that matters, and that is the Order 1886. I made a mistake, and I slept on this game. Completely slept on this game. When it first came out, I dismissed it. I went into it with this bad mindset notion of it, and I didn't pay attention. But I saw I had it again. I re-downloaded it. I said, you know what? I'm going to give this game a second chance, a real chance. Pretty much the first chance, right? And the game is amazing. Like, I hate that I'm hearing that it's really short. I think I'm like 5 hours in, right? I'm streaming like an hour a day, something like that. I told myself when I did this give games a second chance series that I'm doing, I'll only do it in stream. So I've been streaming about an hour and a half over the last couple of days, and I really, really, really enjoy this game. My only issue is that sometimes the enemies can be kind of stupid. Sometimes the QTE isn't properly functioning, in my opinion. And the fact that I'm hearing that is really short. Other than that, the set pieces are great. The acting is amazing. Graphically, it looks super dope. The voice acting is on par. Like, this is a really, really, really underrated game, in my humble opinion.
I think everyone's sort of coming around to the realization that everyone really, really undervalued the Order 1886. They were reviewing the game that they wanted it to be, not what it was.
Yep. Well, they wanted it to be a 4-player co-op game. That's what they wanted it to be.
Yeah. I mean, Game Informer's reveal piece saying this could be PlayStation's Gears of War really didn't help the matter, if we're being perfectly honest. But if that game had, and I think also, frankly, it shouldn't have come out at $60. Just given the fact that it's not very replayable. If they had just bit the bullet and brought it down to 40, it would have reviewed better, and I think it would have sold better too.
The game is super dope. I think I even spent like $10 on it because I got it on a sale, and it's probably the best $10 I've spent in a very long time. If you slept on this game and you didn't give it a proper chance like me, I will admit I was wrong. I was completely wrong. And I didn't give this game the respect and proper opportunity to give me a great experience. I was wrong. And to Radiant Dawn, I apologize, but you guys made an amazing game. And I'm hoping, I know Radiant Dawn is currently making a new IP, but I'm hoping, at some point they can go back to it. Because I know Sony owns the IP and Sony can make another company, get another company to come in and make the game, but I want Radiant Dawn to do it. They did such an amazing job of this game. And I am like an hour from the ending, and I don't want it to end, honestly.
Yeah, man. It's really amazing. That game was so good, and I honestly still believe it's the best exclusive on PlayStation. I enjoyed. I had in a world where
Bloodborne exists.
Yeah, Bloodborne's garbage, dude. I can't stand Bloodborne.
What is wrong?
You are Like, if you said Dark Souls, I would agree with you, but Bloodborne is a masterpiece. On every level.
Nah, I disagree, dude. Bloodborne is just kind of lame. It's just let's make Dark Souls light, and
That's
we're just gonna throw this out
That's
here.
not what it is at all. It's I don't want to
trying to piss y'all off, you know.
I'm gonna write a 10,000-word essay on why you're wrong about it. You do realize that, right?
You don't need to do that because the H Bomber guy did like a 90-minute video on why Bloodborne's amazing.
Good, I'll link that too.
I literally, so like, I'm beginning to learn how to do video editing myself, and I'm beginning because I want to do video essays on YouTube, and I started writing a little script for why The Greatest Showman is terrible, like on every level. And then I was telling someone about this, and they went, "Oh yeah, like Jenny Nicholson's video," and I went, "What?" And then they lent me this video, and it's literally everything I had to say. Like, damn it!
Wow. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike, but
yeah, someone got there first with every point I had, and I had nothing else. What you gonna do?
Yeah. All right, everybody in the chat who's watching us live, remember to go smash that like button. We do appreciate you guys for showing up. Really, it's a blast having everybody live.
Y'all are just so lucky that it's not Wednesday, and I try to act right on Mondays. Cal, I will say, Cal, that's my brother, man. I got much respect for him. He did something the Anchorman them couldn't do, and that's to calm me down and realize that, you know, we are part of something bigger, and we have to show some professionalism. And so Cal is my guy, and I want to thank him, because if it was for him, I would be acting a fool right now. I'm just saying.
And leaning on that, we should everyone go like tweet Cal and say how amazing he is, and also tweet him to live stream Alien Isolation.
Yes.
Yes.
This is why we have James on the show.
Go do it.
No. Yeah, dude. Man, we had a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So real quick, two of you guys actually got to see A Quiet Place, John Krasinski, right? And so what are your guys' impressions? Let's start with Sam, because we don't really ask him about movie opinions that much. But Sam and James got to see the movie. So we'll start with Sam. What's some non-spoilery impressions about this movie?
Okay, so I'll keep it brief. I don't want to steal any of James' finer points, considering he already had a bunch of points stolen by a video, evidently. But in brief, the acting is phenomenal. I mean, John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, as always, is fantastic. So the acting level is just simply superb throughout the entire film. The child actors, I don't remember their names off the top of my head. James, if you could pull those up, that'd be great. But they did a really good job. The soundtrack, as you'd expect, is incredibly minimalistic, almost non-existent, bar a couple of specific scenes and a couple of musical notes that are used to punctuate the mood. You need to see it in a quiet theater. Like, if your theater is known for being rowdy and rambunctious, I would recommend just waiting and getting the Blu-ray or streaming it when it comes out, because I cannot emphasize enough how quiet it needs to be. There's very little noise, and that the film uses that to punctuate every single moment, to excarborate the tension. The tension level and the stress level that is induced by this film is established extremely early on, and it carries that high all the way through, bar a couple of specific moments. It's extremely good. Even if you don't traditionally like horror, I urge you to check it out.
I can only really concur and agree with everything Sam said. I would say, I agree, you've got to see it in a quiet cinema, but I think seeing it in a reasonably full cinema, who is quiet, is the best way to experience it. Because there's something like being on your own and not making any noise is one thing. Being in a room with 40 people and not making any noise is entirely different.
Absolutely.
And I remember I went to see the film in an area of London called Camden, which is it's like a microcosm of London in 1 square mile. So it's quite rambunctious and loud anyway. So people were coming into this screen with nachos and like eating potato chips and like talking and opening drinks. And then like 10 minutes into the film, everyone shut up, because they were just so engrossed by this film, and like the atmosphere of the room was like the tension was so thin you could cut it with a spoon.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy thing about this film is at the top of the would anyone like to guess at who produced the film?
Let's see.
Let me give you a clue. They're not known for subtlety and quiet.
Michael Bay?
Michael Bay is correct.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Michael,
Yeah.
No,
That shocked me.
that's
this
surprising.
is the highest rated Michael Bay film ever,
Oh my god.
and
It's
like
just
deservedly so. He only produced it. The story was by two other people. John Krasinski directed it. This is not his directorial debut, but it's his first like wide release.
yeah.
Excuse me. The child actors that you mentioned earlier, the daughter is played by Millicent Simmons, who is deaf in real life and plays a deaf character in the story, and that makes her a massive part of her character. The son is played by Noah Jupe, who you might have seen if you saw the miniseries The Night Manager, or the film George Clooney's film Suburbicon, or a really good film last year called Wonder with Owen Wilson. He was in that as well. He played the main character's best friend. What else to add to this that you didn't already say?
It's very difficult to talk about it without spoiling it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. There's like, it's not a spoiler to say that like Emily Blunt's character is pregnant. It makes it very clear early on. So like, it just think about, because that's the way that John Krasinski was brought onto this project. He was pitched it as, it's not a story about if you make noise, a monster's going to find you. It's a story about a family doing absolutely everything they can to save their children and their unborn children from the dangers of the world, whatever that may be. Like, that's what this film is about at its absolute core.
Right.
But also there's monsters who attack you if you make any noise.
All right.
And I think, it's already made 7 times its budget, which proves that horror films.
Well.
Yeah, it's doing crazy well. It's doing really well over here as well in the UK. I'm pretty like set on just highly recommending it. Like, we're in a renaissance of horror films right now. Like, the one thing, the things that come out every year that are going to be amazing is there's going to be a brilliant series of television from about 5 different TV shows. And there's going to be about 4 or 5 really good horror films, like just solidly every year. And this and another film that just came out in the UK called Ghost Stories is another one. Do you mind if I quickly talk about that?
Sure,
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a film by Andy Nyman and Jeremy Dyson, who you may know as the creators of a British show called The League of Gentlemen. One of the members of The League of Gentlemen is a guy called Mark Gatiss, who co-created Sherlock. If you've all seen that.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. So this film is an adaptation of a play that they did of the same name called Ghost Stories. And it's about one professor who has a TV show debunking psychics and people who say that they can talk to ghosts and all of that nonsense, which is obviously nonsense. And then is like his old mentor comes to him and says, look, I know what you're doing, but what you need to stop, because you're going to ruin your life, like trying to ruin other people's beliefs. Here are 3 cases that I could never solve. And so the film takes place, this film is sort of like an old Hammer horror film or an Amicus film. So it's 3 different ghost stories being told by 3 different people. And it's this guy trying to say why it's like, it's a hallucination brought on by this or this and this and this. But there is an undercurrent of something else. And I'm not going to say what it is, because the brilliant thing about horror films, especially the very British horror films, is that it's all about character and story and the reveals. I think this film coming out on April 20th, if I'm not mistaken.
April 20th, in the US.
Yeah, this is something that's not to be slept on. This is like old-fashioned, a proper ghost story. Like a sitting around a campfire when you're 13, telling a story of the old man who lives down the lane who, sold his soul to a devil goat or something. I don't know. But it'll make you feel like that again. So yeah.
All right.
That's the brief horror roundup from me and Sam.
All right. So yeah, while we're on the topic of movies right now, just kind of get this out of the way. We need to do a reminder. Avengers is coming out in just over 2 weeks. Avengers: Infinity War, and
annoyingly, because like famously, like this would be a long running joke that I would always see the film like a week before you all, and then they just bumped up the release in America by a week, so you get it on the same day.
Yep, we're gonna get
that was our
same
thing.
days, you guys.
They are made in Britain. We should get them first.
This is all about balancing the multiverse. Balance.
Yep.
We all get it at the same time.
We still get it a day before, but it's not the same.
Nah, they're the reason why they did that, other than just marketing, is marketing. The whole reason for it is they're going to go for the record for the highest grossing movie in a single weekend, and they're going to, since it's going to release worldwide all at the same time.
And also because they don't want any spoilers to get out, which means that someone massive is dying.
Someone's dying, big time. Like that. That's the thing. That's gonna be a big event. And also I was talking with Fame earlier. They started pumping out the new trailers last week and this week as well, and they are really heavily marketing Black Panther. Really heavily. Like probably about half the runtime is Black Panther related on those trailers. They're showing M'Baku, they're showing was it Nadira? No, I forget.
What,
Where
Shuri?
was the general? No, the general. Can't remember.
I keep wanting to say Michonne.
Yeah, I know. It's just like no, that's not it. Yeah, I keep want to say it's Nadira, but I don't think that's right. By the way, so they have M'Baku on screen all the time. Like they're literally chanting like "We will bend but not break," like the entire trailer. It's like, oh my god, I got so hyped. And like the last trailer was cool, like the first or second time, but this trailer, I've watched this like 7 times in a row now. Like it's that good of a trailer. It gets you so pumped. I'm still really psyched for this movie. I have a thing. I have a theory. Because of how quickly the Han Solo film and Deadpool, they're going to be released in the same vicinity as Infinity War. I don't think Infinity War will make as much money as Black Panther.
Nah.
I don't. I think it'll cannibalize all the other movies, but Avengers: Infinity War is too big, dude. It's way too big.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Black Panther hit something that I don't think that this movie can do. It's going to sell great, but Black Panther brought out an audience that would normally bootleg a movie. Black Panther brought an audience to folks who don't really go to the movies very often. Black Panther brought out a particular audience that doesn't really, go see movies like that. It's going to be difficult. I'm telling you, it may not touch Black Panther numbers. I'm just.
But dude, you're not thinking about just that group too. The group that just turned out for Black Panther. They're literally they're clamoring for more.
Yeah, that's true too.
And it's only 2 months later. It's like it'd be one thing if it was a year later, and it's like, oh yeah, Black Panther's in the movie, all right, whatever. But this is like people are coming off the hype. People are still pumped. People are still seeing Black Panther in theaters right now.
I was about to say, in my cinema, we had 4 showings of it today.
Yeah, on a Monday.
So you're right. I mean, they are smart. The closer to release to push more Black Panther, remind people, hey.
And that's what you're seeing right now with all the marketing and the trailers. They're saying, hey, you guys love Black Panther. He's going to be in this movie. We're throwing a lot more. This is basically the sequel coming up 2 months later.
Because a lot of this is really set in Wakanda, isn't it? At least from what we've seen so far.
A good chunk of it is.
A good chunk of it.
Because we know they're going for that Soul Stone. Soul Stone somewhere in Wakanda. Like, it's got to happen.
Yep.
And not to mention, Chadwick Boseman just hosted Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I saw that too. Oh my god, that's hilarious. That Black Jeopardy segment got me crying.
Brilliant.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Oh my god.
Painfully true as well.
just
no
oh
raisins.
My god.
No
Bane, did you see that segment?
Uh-uh.
Oh my god,
brilliant.
dude. Right after this, you need to go see it.
Gotcha.
Go type in Black Jeopardy, Saturday Night Live, Black Panther. Like
Gotcha.
it's oh my god, it's hilarious. That segment's probably their best running segment anyway on Saturday Night Live, but that with T'Challa on the show was just way better. It was just so much better. Oh man, but all right, we got to get into some main topics for the evening. One of which is Spider-Man. So, Spider-Man, as you guys know, is going to be an exclusive game coming out actually in September this year for PlayStation 4. And it's one of the reasons I upgraded to Pro, because I can't stand the fact that I'm going to have to watch, or that I was going to have to play Spider-Man on the inferior version of the game. So I had to play it.
Sorry. Her name is Nakia. Carry on.
Nakia, the deer was pretty close, right? But anyway, so moving right along about that. A lot of this game has got me way too pumped, but I'm really, really trying not to look at it, which is making it really hard.
Yeah, good luck.
Because I don't want to look at the game and have any expectations going into it, because the only thing I want is good web slinging. And if they could bring that, the rest of the game could be garbage. The rest of the game could be one giant QTE, but as long as the web slinging is perfect, I'll be happy. But I kind of want to get into a topic about this here because, Spider-Man's great. Everyone's into that. I don't know anyone else here who's not getting Spider-Man. But the big thing I want to kind of pull you guys about, because there's been a lot of discussion about whether or not Sony having Spider-Man as an exclusive game is anti-gamer. A lot of similar arguments floating around about Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider situation a couple years ago. I kind of want to get you guys' impressions on this sort of thing. Do you so it's kind of more of a two-part question. One, do you think that Sony having Spider-Man as an exclusive game is or anti-consumer rather? And second of all, do you think that, I'm trying to think how to phrase this correctly. Do you think that is I don't know. We'll start with the question one first. We'll follow up later. So let's start with somebody who hasn't talked too much just yet, who's only here for the paycheck. Undead, what you thinking, dude?
Oh, now you want my opinion. All right. Sorry, I was just reading through that awful chat. Well, the funny thing with exclusivity, exclusivity is important because it's what gives consoles their, so to speak, image. Like if you go back to PS1, PS2 era, and like when you think Sega, you think Sonic. When you think Nintendo, you think Mario. When I think of PlayStation, I still think of Crash Bandicoot because that was just the generation I was raised on. But was as in respects to Spider-Man, no, I don't think it's wrong that it's exclusive to Sony because I believe they helped fund development with Insomniac as well. So I 100% think it's okay if Microsoft or Nintendo or PlayStation, if they put money into development of a game, they have the perfect rights to limit that to their platform. Even though traditionally, I think Spider-Man games have been on all platforms traditionally.
I agree with that, though, because if Sony's actually helping to fund the game, then I don't have a problem with it being exclusive. Now, if this was just Insomniac themselves was developing and funding the game, and Sony swooped in and said, okay, we're going to buy the exclusive rights to this game now, but we didn't do anything with developing it, yeah, then I would say that scenario would be anti-consumer, but the current one, I really don't think it is. Now, question, because I really don't know, Sony does not own the Spider-Man IP, do they? Like the general Spider-Man IP.
I'm not. We're not going into this.
But no,
Marvel
let
owns
me
it.
clarify this. Because this needs to be understood.
They just own the movie rights, right?
First, they only own the movie rights at this time. The rule of thumb has been Marvel basically started selling off a bunch of their rights back in the mid 90s. They started selling off a bunch of their rights for games, for movies, all that kind of stuff. The Spider-Man and really the whole Marvel license itself, they basically entered a 10-year publishing deal with Activision. And Activision was just publishing games left and right. Didn't care how bad they were, didn't care about quality control. You got games like Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. You got all those Spider-Man games from the beginning of time. You've had tons of games, and like the Deadpool game because Activision, all those bad X-Men games were Activision. There were games left and right. But the problem was that license expired. I think it was 2014, I want to say. I think it was the last thing. It was the last year they could publish a new game. So that's why, what was it, 2 years ago, you started seeing all these random games getting published. All these remasters. Like, Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, a $60 remaster where we did nothing. All we did is just port it. And people are saying, they up-resed it and then increased the frame rate. So no, they didn't, dude. Ultimate Alliance 1 had a 1080p option. It ran like crap, but it actually had a 1080p resolution option. You could go into the settings. It ran like 10 frames a second, but that doesn't matter. It was really a dumb thing, but Marvel has always they've had the license, but they've given out dumb publishing deals to people, and so when that reverted back to them, Marvel Game Studios now. Or Marvel Games, I forgot. They have a name. They have an actual name under Disney, but Disney technically owns all the gaming rights at this point in time. But right now, they're kind of just shopping all the individual IPs to people. Like Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, they're working on the Avengers game, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
With support from Eidos Montreal, but that's nothing new.
Yep.
Those two studios.
And then you had Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Capcom came out last year. And that was with Capcom, and so this is not like the first time this has happened, but they're definitely playing the field here. But I'm pretty sure in this particular instance, what happened was with that Spider-Man movie deal to get Spider-Man and the Avengers into the MCU, they probably made a deal about the game rights for this one to license it out, saying, okay, you can have an exclusive game, and that's it. But Sony does not own the game rights. That is misinformation that is flowing.
And there you have
continue. Go ahead.
Anyway, so swinging mechanics.
Yes, swinging mechanics.
Very important. Very important.
Very important. One of the things that people in gaming, the video games have been clamoring for is physics-based web slinging, because we had that in 2004 with Amazing just with Spider-Man 2. But ever since then, I think we only have one other game that's done it, which is Web of Shadows. Like everything else is really, there's no momentum.
Is Spider-Man 2 like secretly the most beloved PlayStation 2 game that isn't like a massive blockbuster?
Yep. For me at least. Yep. It's really amazing.
PS2, they always go for like Shadow of the Colossus or Persona 3. Or God of War, but But no, yeah. I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about Spider-Man 2.
It was good.
Yep, because you can't say anything bad about Spider-Man 2.
Because the only bad thing you can say about it is it wasn't Ultimate Spider-Man.
Dude, no game ever made, but it was good. The best Spider-Man game ever made was on the PS1, the first one, in my opinion.
What? Well, wait. Let's just to clarify what you mean, because there's been more than one on the PlayStation 1. You're talking about like the level where the whole thing is like revolving around Venom and Carnage, right?
Yes, not Enter Electro. Enter Electro was trash. I'm talking about the one with Venom and Carnage.
You're talking about the one where the final boss is Carnage melding with Dr. Octopus, right?
Yeah, I was like 14 when that game was out. I thought that was the
pretty
coolest
dope.
thing.
That game was pretty dope.
It really was.
Like that game
and all the cameos in it, like, oh, it's Black Cat. Oh, it's the Human Torch. It was the coolest
Captain America's in the game.
Yes.
He's in the game for only like 5 seconds. He drives the Quinjet to pick up Spidey at the end and says nothing.
And Venom asks for his autograph.
Oh my god,
that's a fun question. What was everyone's favorite game when they were 14?
Oh, baby, when I was 14.
Trying to remember when I was 14.
What year
when I was 14,
that?
I was 2007 when I was 14.
Oh,
So,
I know exactly what mine was.
I'm the same age you are, so yeah,
I know exactly what mine was. So... It was Assassin's Creed 2. That was mine.
No, I couldn't play Assassin's Creed 2 till 2011, so I didn't get to play that till way late. Let's see, what was mine? Spider-Man 2 is definitely in there, dude.
I'm pretty sure mine was God of War 2 because I was angry at everything in my life. I'm pretty damn sure it was God of War 2.
All right, I'm not going back that far. I think when I was 14, that puts me back at like 2000, 2001-ish, like somewhere around there. Probably then it was Metal Gear Solid 3.
That's a good taste for a 14-year-old.
No. That was... Wait, hold on.
No, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Well, no, just Spider-Man 2.
No, that was back. That was back further than that. I got to keep looking.
Nah, so, all right. So kind of going back to the topic at hand. So okay, Undead, you would say that Sony having this deal is fine in this current instance.
As long as, I will always say this, because from my understanding, Insomniac Games got it because Sony secured the license. Sony funded this game. If any one of the big three console makers puts money into a game, they have the right to keep it off the platform, even if the game was previously multi-platform, technically speaking. And I don't it's hard to ask me if I have a problem with it for the simple reason is I have a PS4, so I'm not missing out on this, so to speak, right? So obviously I'm a little biased in that regard, but like at the same time, you can't get mad because if Sony is funding the Spider-Man game, which I'm pretty sure they are, if they didn't put that funding into it and didn't acquire the license, Insomniac wouldn't be making it, and it wouldn't be a game in the first place. So
yeah,
it's kind of one of those things, really. But though it is pretty interesting to notice that Spider-Man can't come to Xbox because Sony is publishing it and funding it, yet PUBG can come to PS4 even though Microsoft is publishing it and funding it. So that's a kind of interesting cross things.
But I think that might be because PUBG was created by a company that wasn't then owned by Microsoft. Wait, that's not what I meant.
I was going to say Insomniac isn't owned by Sony either. So
no, I meant a publishing deal for the game. Like PUBG existed as a thing before Microsoft went, oh, we'll take that.
Yeah.
And also, it's pronounced PUBG.
Oh, God, I can't. Every time.
Oh, by the way, it took me a while, but 16 years ago, I was 14. Favorite game, Jet Set Radio. Future. Great game. Don't hate on it.
Nice one.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, you also had an opinion on this before I jump in here? What are your thoughts on this?
Here's the thing. People cried all over my Twitter timeline. It was ridiculous. I get deals are made. You know, I get Sony funded it. I get that it's an exclusive, but people still don't realize that Marvel still owns the Spider-Man IP. I get what Sony did to get it. Only thing I'm saying is with a iconic figure like Spider-Man, who is now at its peak, I believe, in popularity, This type of game, in my opinion, should have been multi-plat because it's been multi-plat and Spider-Man is at its peak. With that being said, I get the deal. It's a great move by Sony, but I don't want to hear, because we, like you said, Disney's out here contracting stuff. I don't want to hear anyone crying if Microsoft scoops in and picks up a big title. I don't want to hear anybody crying about, oh, this game should be multi-plat. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. I get
but you will hear it
from the same people who saying stop crying, go get a PS4. Like, I have a PS4. As a matter of fact, I have 2 of them. I plan on playing the game day one. I get deals are made. I get Sony made an incredible deal. Smart move. I would have done the same thing. Use the movie leverage to, well, assuming that's what they did, use it to their advantage. I'm just saying, for an iconic game character, and Spider-Man is iconic, that's been multi-plat to go exclusive at its peak. Spider-Man is now it's at a second peak. At its peak, it's a shame that everyone can't enjoy this game. You got to go out and buy another console to play this game. And like I said, with that being said, if Marvel calls Microsoft and say, hey, we got, Iron Man or whatever case may be, we got a Black Panther game for you, Xbox. Here you go, exclusive. I don't want to hear anybody crying about it, honestly.
Good point.
Yeah. And I mean, let's be honest. Does anyone here think that a year, maybe less after the game comes out, the Game of the Year edition will come out, and that's going to be available on all platforms?
Nope. It's gonna.
If Insomniac says it's exclusive, I believe them.
It's exclusive
because they did the same 100%. Thing about Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, I agree. Now, future games, on the other hand, that might be a different.
Maybe
story.
Not. Yeah, maybe.
Future games, I can totally.
As Marvel came out and said that the future of this
is with Sony and Insomniac.
Sony and Insomniac will be taking care of the Spider-Man deal going forward.
It could be 10 years like Activision, for all we know, which could be 3 games. But like I said, in one of the articles from PlayStation Life, which I found the other day, someone tweeted it to me. Marvel has said, in regards to other platforms, we have more to say down the line. With that being said, the future of Spider-Man is with Sony and Insomniac. But the key before that, they said in regards to other platforms, which means they have games that are going to be releasing that are also on Xbox and Switch, whether that be complete multi-plat or just on Xbox or just on Switch, but they are making it for other consoles, which is why I say if a game like if we know the comic, the guy from the comic Black Panther wants to make a video game. I'm just saying, if a game like Black Panther comes out and it's exclusive to the Switch or Microsoft, I don't want anybody crying about how this game needs to be multi-plat. I don't want to hear it.
And to clarify on that too, Marvel also clarified by what they meant by other titles going forward as well. The clarification was they were referring to the multi-plat Avengers game that Square Enix is working on.
Oh yeah, I mean there was no way in heck that was going to be anything but multi-plat though.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. For me personally, I just kind of I'm of two minds in this issue because on one hand, I don't care. Like I have a PlayStation, so I have a Pro now, so I'm gonna play it on the best system possible. But on the other hand, it would be one thing if it was like a brand new game, like with a brand new IP altogether. That would be one thing, where it would be a entirely new thing. I could totally understand that. It's just the fact that it's Spider-Man. I can understand people being salty about it because it's Spider-Man. Like it's the character people grew up with, and I can't be mad at Sony or Microsoft or anyone for actually making a deal for this sort of deal, because if you could do it, why not?
Yeah,
why not do it?
Separate the business side from the consumer side, right?
Yeah, it's their goal as a console manufacturer to make the most money possible and make those power moves. So I can't be mad at Sony for doing it. It's their job. It's their job to get these crazy deals and make it happen. But at the same time, like I think in this one particular scenario, because this has never happened before, where there was an exclusive Spider-Man game for the sole reason of because we just don't want it to come to another platform. It's I can understand being salty behind it, and I can't like wag the finger at people for being mad about this in particular because it's never happened before. So, I mean, I can't be entirely mad.
It is a weird thing to see something that's big, like a comic book series or anything like that, something that's got mass appeal being restricted to one platform, which I kind of get. But at the same time, it goes back to the whole funding thing. If Sony didn't foot the bill, would this game have been made?
Yes.
No.
Sorry. Yes, any Spider-Man game would have been made.
It would have been a trash Activision Shattered Dimensions mess again.
Whoa. Shattered Dimensions was not a bad game. But it wasn't the best Spider-Man game, but it wasn't a bad game. That game had a lot of Easter eggs and fan service. That game is basically fan service the game. I'm not even kidding you. There are every scene is an Easter egg. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Shattered Dimensions, just a moment. Like, okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Did you know every voice actor who played Spider-Man in that game was also a voice actor for Spider-Man and other TV projects and movie projects? In the Amazing Spider-Man line, Neil Patrick Harris is voicing Spider-Man, and he was in the CGI series. The guy who's playing Spider-Man Noir is the guy who did the 90s, aka the best Spider-Man series of all time, the animated series. Oh, that series was dope. You guys remember that one?
I do. Yep.
I do.
Oh my god, that music.
It just gets stuck
I argue
in your head.
that intro music. I argue that's better than the X-Men intro, dude. That was so good. That Fox Kids series. But
yeah, but the best superhero theme tune is obviously Teen Titans. When there's I'm not gonna do it.
No. Even with that, no, it's definitely not the best.
I actually got a fun story when I do I play in function bands every now and then. I'm a guitarist and a singer, and we played this kid's bar mitzvah, and he was a massive fan of all of these kind of TV shows, and so we played like a bunch of them in the thing, and we jammed out the Teen Titans theme for about 6 minutes. Because we just got it was such a crowd pleaser in that bit where it goes TEENTITANS Teen Titans, let's go. We kept that going for minutes on end, just nice. People just chanting in the audience. It was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, then the guy who did what's his name? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Is it Ron Wasserman?
No. The guy who I swear Drake Bell was in that game. No, that wasn't Drake. That wasn't him. No, I can't remember who he was right now. But it was one of those things where like they had so many actors and like just oh my gosh, everything in that game was like hearkening back to something. And it was a fun game for that alone. The gameplay was not great, and there was no great web slinging. But Edge of Time is probably the worst. That one's really, really bad. Just really, really bad. It's like, okay. I'm gonna pitch a Spider-Man game to you guys, and I want you to tell me at what point do you cancel that game. All right. I'm gonna pitch you a game. Got it? You guys ready?
All right.
You're going to play as a 30-year-old Spider-Man in the modern era.
Okay.
And you're going to play the entire game inside the Daily Bugle.
I'm out.
Cancel. Delete. Cancel.
There's no web slinging mechanic. There's one really stupid one that just makes you go a little bit faster than walking.
What the hell?
Sorry, is this Spider-Man or Job Simulator?
You switch between Spider-Man 2099 in the future and Amazing Spider-Man in the modern timeline. You switch between the two, and what you do is when you do something in the past, it affects the future.
Oh, that's cool.
And
all right.
Except what we're going to do is we're going to switch both of them and put them in the other person's timeline. So Amazing Spider-Man is going to be in the 2099 universe, and then the 2090 and where the 2099 universe villains are actually harder because the 2099 Spider-Man is better at fighting, and the Amazing Spider-Man is better at like web mechanics. But you're going to switch them out, and so actually, you're going to go put them against the easier of enemies. So the game is just a breeze when you're playing as him. You're going to say, we're going to get the guy who's built to fight the tougher enemies and put him against the easier enemies. Put Amazing Spider-Man against the harder enemies and basically just say, screw it.
So you're permanently stuck in the Bugle.
Forever.
30 years old. There's time traveling. You added some cringy dialogue. It's basically Life is Strange with Spider-Man. So,
and guess who the villain is?
Awful. Oh,
guess who the villain is? The ultimate villain. By the way, there's anti-venom in this game. By the way, and they don't tell you anything about anti-venom in the entire game.
What the?
No, anti-venom's an actual character. Like for those of you that know who anti-venom is, basically his whole shtick is he's Eddie Brock with anti-venom on, and he can actually heal people. Like he can cure cancer and stuff.
What the? What?
Wait,
it's a long story. It's a long story, but they don't even bother trying to even remotely give you a hint about who the hell anti-venom is in the game.
Right, so I'm going to guess who the villain is. I'm legit guess Wilson Fisk.
Nope.
Can I have a guess?
Yep, everyone gets a guess.
Craven the Hunter.
Nope.
All right, here's mine. J. Jonah Jameson, because you're not bringing him enough pictures of Spider-Man.
That was good.
And you play the entire game in this whole thing. Oh, and by the way, I should also mention too that when you play in the 2099 universe, you're playing in just the Alchemex building, which is the Bugle building. You're just playing it in the future.
What the? Who greenlighted that? Who greenlighted that?
Yeah. Oh, all right. So yeah, anyone else guess who the villain is?
No idea.
Anybody?
Mysterio.
Nope.
Kurt Connors, the Lizard.
Nope.
Who?
Spider-Man is the villain.
Oh my God!
What?
You literally, Peter Parker grows up to be the CEO of Alchemex and the villain of the game.
So the real villain was the enemies we made along the.
This is awful.
It's a horrible game. It's really bad. Like the only redeeming factor of that game, the only thing is they have great alternate costumes. Like they go balls to the wall. Like they put like the most obscure costume in that game. This is, by the way, this is for me to make a great Spider-Man game. You need three things. You need open world, physics-based web slinging, and amazing alternate costumes. Like in this game, they had Spider-Man, Agent of Hydra. He actually has his own costume to be a part of Hydra. They have Last Stand Spider-Man, with the reversible jacket and the no webs, like no web stuff on his mask. They have one for that one. They had the Peter Parkwog, like the 1806. Anyone remember that one? It was James. You should know this one. It's Neil Gaiman. He did this limited run called like Marvel 1806.
I don't read comic books,
dude. But it's Neil Gaiman though. You should know this.
I know who Neil Gaiman is, but I've never read any of his books.
It's basically basically what they did was they say, hey, what if we had actually, I'm sorry, it's 1606. My bad, not 1806. Basically, what they did is they made all the Marvel superheroes, but in the 1600s.
Why?
Okay.
So
it's
a random thing. I like that idea.
You go look it up afterwards. They actually have a Spider-Man 1606 version, and he's actually he has like a little coif around it, and this looks so bad. But they have all these as alternate costumes, and I'm like, yes, random quirky stuff. So it's so weird, but that's the only redeeming factor of that game, though.
I'm really glad I never played it and barely heard of it, because holy crap, that sounds awful.
You know, as terrible as this pitch is, I actually would probably Redbox it just to see what it's about.
Oh my god!
I feel like this is something that one of us
white knighting bad Spider-Man games.
There might be some fun. Like, you ever play a game that was so bad you at least got a good laugh out of it? Like this.
Okay, Duke, I played and bought the Duke Nukem Collector's Edition for like Duke Nukem Forever. So like, I'm like the king of bad games and supporting bad games. So yeah,
hail to the king, baby.
You have everybody on this podcast has to admit, it went through your mind for maybe a split second when they came out with that trailer for Life of Black Tiger. Like, I wonder how this actually plays.
No, it didn't. It really, really didn't.
Well, actually, I kind of sat there and went, "Oh, cheap, easy platinum." Ha ha ha. Yeah, no.
I mean, considering we've all played Ben-Hur on here, I mean,
oh my god,
which got delisted.
Thank God. Rest in peace. That awful. Whoever has that Twitter account's gonna have to remove it from the Game of the Year contenders now, though.
I'm trying to think of the other little ones, other suits
I know something that we could do really quickly as we are about to finish.
Sure.
On Thursday is the BAFTA Games Awards.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, the BAFTA Awards.
So we could quickly run through the key nominations and see and give our predictions.
Sure.
Okay. Let's go for performer. I refuse to vote because a friend of mine is nominated. But the nominees are Ashley Birch as Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn, Claudia Black as Chloe Fraser, and Laura Bailey as Nadine Ross in Uncharted, both of them. Melina, I'm going to go with Jurgens as Senua in Hellblade.
She'll win.
She'll win. She should.
Valerie Rose Lerman as Edith Finch in What Remains of Edith Finch.
Nope.
And Abubakar Salim as Bayek in Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah, I'm going.
No.
I gotta go.
Hellblade.
Yeah.
Hellblade. And I have to say that I raised my eyebrow at nominating two people from the same game. But
that's fine.
I raised my eyebrow
at
nominating Aloy, considering I thought that was not a particularly solid performance, but that's my own thing. I didn't find the voice acting in that to be insanely amazing.
Right. Let's go for narrative. Nominees: Hellblade, Horizon Zero Dawn, Night in the Woods, Tacoma, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Wolfenstein 2.
Edith Finch.
Edith Finch.
Yeah, in a narrative sense, it's got to be Edith.
Yep.
Friend of the show, Edith Finch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, the show again, Ian. We're waiting for you.
If he
We're
wins,
waiting for your next bird. We're waiting for your next bird-themed game.
Bird-based game. if he wins, we'll send him an email and see if we can get him on again.
Punished Cardinal.
Ian, your game is the only game that we all agree on is great. Come back on.
And Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
You're in illustrious company.
Yes.
Best multiplayer game: Divinity, Original Sin 2, Fortnite, Gang Beasts, PUBG, and Splatoon 2, and Star Trek Bridge Crew. Weirdly enough.
What choice?
It's a VR game, isn't it?
It's really fun. It is really good.
Will PUBG or Fortnite win?
It'll be Fortnite because popularity. Honestly,
can I just last year's winner was Overcooked. So the BAFTAs are weird.
Yeah, it'll probably end up being. Hey, why? Well, I was gonna say, why isn't Sea of Thieves on there? But yeah, I realize it's too late now. I forget the BAFTAs are way after everything's everything's irrelevant now.
I'm saying Gang Beasts is a wild card.
Yeah,
that game is a lot of fun.
It is fun.
It's well good.
Fun.
This is game innovation, which I think is an interesting. It's an interesting category based on the nominees. Gorogoa, which is a tablet game. Hellblade, The Legend of Zelda, Nier Automata, Snipperclips, and What Remains of Edith Finch, with another nominee.
And this is innovative?
I'm going to go with Hellblade for the audio.
Yeah, Hellblade.
Yeah, Hellblade.
Yeah.
Just give everything to Hellblade. Let's just go with that.
No, but it's not. It's got the most nominations. We can't give it everything.
Do like three key ones.
Okay, well, there are only like 3 key ones left.
All right, good.
So for artistic achievements, well, it's okay. It's going to be really obvious when I say the nominees. But okay, nominees are Gorogoa, Hellblade, Horizon, Zelda, Uncharted, and Cuphead.
Cuphead.
It's Cuphead. It's obviously Cuphead.
Yeah.
We'll save best game for last. I'm going to quickly go to music. Oh, I'm really happy that this game is nominated. Get Even is nominated for best music. That soundtrack is outstandingly beautiful. I'd highly recommend if you want some like relaxing strings that'll make you cry. Get Even, great soundtrack. Other nominees: What Remains of Edith Finch, The Legend of Zelda, Horizon, Hellblade, and Cuphead.
What is with the BAFTAs just nominating the same 6 games?
Yeah, but I've missed out a lot of games a lot of categories that only really deal with indie games.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still going with
you
Cuphead
said pick the big ones, so the big games.
That soundtrack gets me going.
I would say Cuphead, but I'm surprised Resident Evil 7 wasn't nominated because that had a great soundtrack in my opinion.
Resi's not nominated for anything, which is crazy.
That's criminal.
That's ridiculous.
How?
I agree. That's criminal.
Garbage.
That is criminal.
Dude, you still haven't played it, even though you promised to. So you shut up, right?
I said I would play it. I will play it.
Played it yet?
Shut up, man. I'm working on it. I got the backlog to get through.
Because it came out in January of last year, everyone forgot about it by the time award season came around.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Right. There's the big one. Best game. The nominees. Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda, Horizon, Hellblade, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Assassin's Creed Origins.
Wild card, I'm going to say they're going to pick Assassin's Creed Origins. I don't even know why.
I mean, and you know what I want to say. And screw it, because they've got a history of being crazy. Edith Finch, I'm down. I'm Team Finch for this.
Well, we'd like it to be Team Finch, but it's not.
I wouldn't be opposed to Hellblade winning either, being perfectly honest.
It's either gonna be Mario or it's gonna be either a Nintendo title or it's gonna be Horizon Zero.
Nah, but this is the BAFTAs though. None of it makes any sense.
It's gotta be Mario.
The thing is though, the BAFTAs also has Best British Game, where it just does the British games. Where Hellblade is also nominated.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed Origins. I think they'll pull a wild card on this one.
And also, just very quickly, the Fellowship Award, which is basically the Lifetime Achievement Award, that's going to Tim Schafer.
I guess so. I don't think he deserves it personally, but.
What did he do?
He did Psychonauts,
Monkey Island,
Age, Monkey Island.
Oh, Monkey Island was dope. Okay, I'm with it.
Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle.
Okay, so
I'm still holding him. I'm still holding him accountable for how he treated me at E3. I remember. I saw you throw my business card on the ground. I don't think I didn't notice. too busy to say hello.
Okay, so we hate Tim Schafer. Got it.
Not we, just me.
Well, I'm going to the awards, and I'll see if he'll be nicer to me.
Yeah, well, good for you. All right, guys.
I'll report back next week.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap things up here. And thank you guys for coming on the show. Fame had to go a little early, but thank you guys for coming out to the show. We had some good following engagement in the chat there. Really do appreciate you guys doing this stuff. So, all right. So let's take a look. So we're gonna do our outros here. Let's start with James. Where can the good people find you at?
People can find me on the tweets at James_S Wilson. Tweet me and tweet the Multiverse channel your favorite game when you were 14. That's an interesting thing. Come talk to me about Radiohead and how excited everyone is for Arctic Monkeys' new album. Hell yeah.
All right. And Mike?
All right, guys. You could find me on pretty much every platform at Mike P. The Truth. I got that synergy going as usual. And also on the Inner Circle at TICGN.com.
All right. And Sam?
So you guys can find me on Twitter at Samuel Talbert. I'll be happy to talk entertainment, movies, games, TV shows, tech, anything you like there. You can also find me on TICGN.com, writing reviews, news, opinion pieces, pretty much anything, really. Come check us out.
Nick?
People can find me on Twitter at Undead3XVI, YouTube Undead3XVI. You can check out Gaming Perspective on Saturday nights. Got a pretty interesting episode lined up this weekend. Details later in the week. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you want to, you can follow me on Xbox for giggles, PlayStation, anything. Basically, Undead3XVI, any social media, I'm on it.
All right. And Sam, did we do you? Yeah, Sam.
Yes, we just did.
Oh, we did? My bad. Sorry, I just short-term memory loss. All right, guys. And I'm Mike Manby too. Thank you guys for showing up to episode 91 of the Multiverse Show, the greatest show on Mondays. We're out of here, boys.
Isn't this great?